In this video, we are going to discuss nomenclature of cyclic alkanes. After the discussion of the rules, we are going to have some sample problems with their solutions. Okay, so let's start with the question, how do cyclic alkanes form? Paano ba nabubuo? Ayan, so we have here a sample straight chain alkane. Anong pangalan nito? From our first discussion on naming straight chain alkane or the unbranched and branched alkanes, alam natin na kapag ka 6 yung carbon atoms niya, papangalanan natin yung structure natin as hexane. Okay? Pagkalima, pentane. And by the way, kapag ka hindi mo pa napanood yung first na video natin on naming alkanes, nasa description yung link. Okay? So, importante yung mga rules doon na pwede nating i-apply dito sa next lesson natin. Okay, so let's proceed. So, this is hexane. Now, what if the hydrogen atoms on both ends are removed? So, magiging ganito siya. So, what will happen to our structure? Okay? So, what will happen is that instead of being a straight chain alkane, magiging ring siya. So, nag-connect yung dalawang carbon, yung ending na carbon natin to form a cyclic alkane. So, cyclic meaning naka-ring siya. Ring type kumbaga. Okay, so in our first representation na displayed, nakapakita doon yung hydrogen atoms, yung carbon atoms. But we can also represent that one using the structural, wherein we only indicate the H2 instead of showing the bonds between the carbon and the hydrogen. So instead of C and then uh, H, the H and then H, we'll just use H2. So naging shorthand siya. And of course, simplify things, we can use this one, the skeletal representation, wherein we only show the uh, the sides of our ring. Okay? So, nagiging polygon siya kung maalala ninyo yung geometry ninyo. So, dito, meron tayong sides na 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. And of course, with the sides, meron tayong mga vertices. Uh, vertex, ito yung vertex, another vertex, 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 and that vertex. And of course, in our skeletal representation, yung mga vertices natin, ito mga points na to, will indicate the location of the carbon atoms. So mapapansin ninyo, hindi na natin kailangan ilagay yung C dyan. Okay? So automatic na kapag nakita natin na ganito, yung point na yan will mean that there is a carbon atom there. So this is uh, uh, a shorthand representation of the structure and displayed representation of the molecule. So how do we name cyclic alkanes? Our first step is we count the number of carbon atoms in the ring. So the ring is named based on the number of carbon atoms but with the prefix cyclo. So we have the following examples. For the first example, we have 1, 2, 3. There are 3 in our uh, ring. This is the ring, although this is a triangular, but we consider that as a ring because it's a closed structure. Okay, so there are 3 carbon atoms. So kapag ka 3, normally we uh, name that as propane. Okay? But since yung carbon atoms natin ay nasa isang ring, we indicate cyclo in order to show that our propane is in a ring type or in a cyclic structure. So cyclopropane. Okay, another one, 4 carbon atoms. Normally, that is butane, but since the carbon atoms are in a ring structure, we add the prefix cyclo. Same with pentane, there are 5, the cyclopentane. Hexane, there are 6, cyclohexane. Okay. For simpler representation, we use this one, cyclobutane, this one, cyclopentane, ayan, 5 sides, and then cyclohexane, 6. What if we have 7? 7, uh, 7 vertices. Ayan, okay. Guess what? Ayun, so tama. Nagiging heptane, normally we call that heptane, but since the carbon atoms are in a ring structure, cyclic structure, we name that as cycloheptane. Okay. Ayan. What if we have branches or we have substituents attached to the ring? So if there are substituents attached to the ring, we need to number our ring in order to show or indicate the location of each substituent. So these numbers will serve as the addresses of each substituent. Okay, so again, the second step is number the substituents attached to the ring and write the name in alphabetical order. In our first example, our structure has only one substituent, this one. And we know that this one is methyl. So how do we number our ring? If we only have one substituent, automatically this one will receive the lowest number, that is 1. And you can proceed numbering that, but since we don't have any substituents, we don't have other substituents rather, we don't need to do that. So we can name that one as 1 dash methyl methyl, and then we attach that to our parent chain or parent ring. So what's the name of our parent ring? Since our ring has 5 sides and 5 vertices, this is 5 carbon 5 carbon atom ring. Okay, so if there are 5 carbon atoms, we know that this is pentane. But since it is in a ring type, we add the cyclo prefix. Okay, so 1 methyl and then the name of the parent ring, which is cyclopentane. So 1 methyl cyclopentane. Ayan. Okay, for our next example, we have 2 substituents. So what should we do? If we have more than or 2 or more substituents, all we have to do is to number the ring in such a way that the substituents will receive small numbers. Okay. So how do we do this one? We can start from this, numbering this as 1, 2, and then 3, 4, then 5. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 5 carbon atoms. So that is also cyclopentane. But what will be the number of the substituents? Now, you notice that we have uh, 2 methyls. So, ano ang susundan natin? Is it 1, 2 or 1, 2? Okay. So, mapapansin ninyo, either of the two options, kahit anong ilagay natin, parehas yung magiging kahihinatnan. For example, we say that this one is 1 methyl and then 2 methyl. If we try to add the numbers of our substituents, we can have 3. Okay? If we start from this one, 1, and then 2, the same then. 1 plus 2 is 3. So, dapat lowest number. Hindi natin pwedeng simulan dito 1, and then 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Then name that as 1-methyl and 5-methyl. Why? Our goal is to have the lowest possible number for our substituents. So pag ginawa nating 1-methyl and 5-methyl, a total of 6, higher siya. So the lowest possible number is 3. Okay, so our naming is 1-methyl, 2-methyl. Again, in our first video, we explained that if there are the same group, then we can combine that using the prefix di, tri, tetra, and so on and so forth. So we have two the same groups. We have dimethyl. Of course, we need to indicate the location, 1, and then 2, and then the hyphen. So this one will be our substituents. And then we attach that to our parent chain. We have 1, 2, dimethyl. Sorry for my penmanship. Okay. So the final answer will be 1,2-dimethyl cyclopentane. In our third example, we have different groups attached to our parent chain. The first step in naming this one is to determine the name of our parent chain. So since we have 5 sides, 5 vertices, therefore we have 5 carbon atoms, this one will be named as cyclopentane. Now our next concern is the numbering of the substituents. Now, kapag ganito ang situation, pipiliin natin na bigyan ng 1 or lowest number yung mas mauna sa alphabet, ang beginning letter. So this one is ethyl. This one is methyl. Therefore, mas mauna si E kesa sa M. So since dalawa lang sila, we start from 1 and then 2. Continue numbering 3, 4, and then 5. Bakit hindi pwedeng 1 and then 2, 3, 4, then 5? Okay, so kapag ginawa natin yon, mamamali tayo kasi ang numbers ng substituents natin ay 1-ethyl and 5-methyl. Okay? So, total of 6. Kumpara kapag 1 and 2 ang gamitin natin, there are only 3. 3 lang yung kanilang sum. After giving numbers to our substituents, we make sure that when we attach the substituents to our parent ring, we alphabetically arrange the substituents also. So, mauuna si ethyl kesa kay methyl. Ayan. So, ang pangalan, therefore, is 1-ethyl, 1-ethyl, and then 2-methyl cyclopentane. So, we name this structure as 1-ethyl, 2-methyl cyclopentane. Let's have more examples. Of course, we need to look at the parent ring. Ano ang maging pangalan niyan? Ang pinakamadaling paraan is to count the number of carbon atoms based from the vertices. So, meron tayong 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8. There are 8 carbon atoms. Therefore, that is octa. That's oct. And we are dealing with alkane, octane. Okay? That is octane. But we are dealing also with a ring structure. So, ilalagay natin si cyclo. So, magiging cyclooctane. Ayan. So, cyclooctane. Our next concern are the substituents. Okay? So, to give the number of the substituents, we should properly number our uh, ring. So, saan tayo mag-start dyan? So, we know that this one is chlorine, and this one is methyl. Okay? So, tatlong substituents tayo. So, from the rule, mag-start tayo alphabetically. Ayan. So, C for chlorine comes first in the alphabet before M in methyl. So, mag-start tayo kay chlorine. So, it's either we start from this one or this one. So, since parehas na ang distance nila sa methyl, ayan, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, we can start kahit saan dito sa dalawa. So, we number that one as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ayan. Bakit hindi natin pinili na 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? Again, pag ginawa natin yon, magiging mas mataas yung number ng ating substituents natin, which is, which violates our goal. Mawawala na tayo sa goal natin na dapat yung numbers ng ating substituents ay mababang mga numbers. So we follow this numbering. We now list down the substituents. So what are they? We have 1, 1 chlorine. Is it chlorine? No. When we see a halogen, when we see chlorine in our as a substituent in our ring, we use the term chloro. Ayan. So 1 chloro. Ayan. Pagka fluorine naman, fluoro. Pagka bromine, bromo. Ayan. 1 chloro, 3 methyl, and then 5 chloro. Ayan. Okay, next. Meron na tayong mga substituents. Correct ang mga numbers. We alphabetize them. So, meron tayong 1 chloro, then 5 chloro, and then 3 methyl. So, ito ang last. Ngayon, meron tayong dalawang chloro. We can use the prefix di for 2 to combine them. So, we have the final answer of 1, 5 hyphen dichloro, dichloro. What's the next substituent? We have 3 methyl cyclooctane. Okay, so that will be our final answer. 1,5-dichloro 3-methyl cyclooctane. Okay, sorry, this there should be no space here. Next, our next example has 3 substituents. Okay, so how many carbon atoms in our parent chain? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. So 7, heptane siya. Cycloheptane kasi naka-cyclic siya. Okay, so we remove the other writings so that we can have space for this example. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this one is cycloheptane. Hept for 7. The next step is to number the ring to show the the location of the substituents. So where should we start? Ayan. So we start doon sa substituent na magbibigay sa atin ng pinakamababang sum. Pinakamababang sum. So let me show you. If we start from this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. magkakaroon tayo ng numbering of the, let's continue, 6 and then 7. Magkakaroon tayo ng numbers ng subsequence na 1, and then this one, 4, and then that one, 5. Total of 10. Okay. So let's try the other ways in numbering. What if we start from this point? Okay. So start from this point, 1. We can go that way, pero alam na natin na masyadong malayo, so mas mataas na number doon. So we continue from this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? Saan yung ating mga substituents? We have 1. Yan. So 1, we have 2, and then we have 5. Total of 8. So alin ang mas tama? Etong set na to. So alin yung tamang numbering natin? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yung outer na numbering. Yung nandun sa loob, yun yung mali. Kasi more than siya. 10. Okay. So after properly numbering the ring, proceed tayo sa naming. Okay. So ililista na natin. We have 1. This one is methyl. 1 methyl followed by 2 ethyl and then 5 another methyl. Okay. So before we uh, attach that to our parent chain, kailangan nating i-alphabetize and then i-combine yung methyl na dalawa gamit yung correct prefixes. So our final answer will be 2-ethyl kasi mas mauna siya, E versus M. So 2-ethyl hyphen, we have 1, 5 dimethyl. We now attach the parent chain. Cycloheptane. That should be cycloheptane. Let me correct that. Sige, cycloheptane. Cycloheptane. So in our third example, we have CH3, CH3, CH2, CH2, CH3, and then the ring. So first step, determine the name of the ring based from the number of carbon atoms. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 5. We know that that is cyclopentane. Okay? Number the ring. Saan tayo magsisimula? Okay, so this one is propyl kasi tatlo siya. Tatlong carbon. Propyl. This one is methyl. This one is another methyl. Now, kung ganito ang structure, yung numbering natin ay magsisimula doon sa carbon na may mas madaming substituents. So, mapapansin natin, dalawang carbon ang may substituents. Itong carbon na to at saka yung carbon na yan. At ang sabi ko nga, kapag ganito na may mas madaming carbon, mas madaming substituents, meron siyang isang methyl doon, isang methyl doon, attached to it. Versus dito, isa lang, propyl. Okay? So, magsisimula tayo sa numbering 1 dito sa may mas madaming substituents. Ayan. So, 1. Okay. So, saan ang direction? Is it clockwise or counter? If we follow counter, that will give us a number of 1, 2, 3, 4. So the number of our substituents will be 1 and 4. Versus, if we follow clockwise, 1, 2, 3, 1 and 3. So mas mababa. So yun ang pipiliin natin. So, we continue 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. We list down the uh, substituents. We have 1 methyl, another 1 methyl, and then 3 propyl. So, pwede nating pag-combine to, dimethyl, okay, and then 3 propyl. Of course, the address of this one is 1 and then 1 from this. So, i-combine natin, magiging, anong unahin natin? Mas mauuna sa alphabet si M kesa kay P. Now, sir, should we include letter D because this is dimethyl? As discussed in our first video, hindi magiging basis ang ating prefix na di-tri doon sa pag-alphabetize. So, we base from M. So, M comes first before P. So, mauna si dimethyl. Okay, so, all in all, we put that all together. We have 1, 1, hyphen, dimethyl, and then hyphen, 3 propyl, cyclopentane. So this will be our final answer. Let's check. 1,1-dimethyl 3-propyl cyclopentane. And that's it for the second video in naming alkanes, especially on cycloalkanes. I'll see you in the next video.